Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Taylor Canoose, keeping track of the winter weather impacting the Midlands today. It started last night with some freezing drizzle that has slowly and steadily accumulated and is causing some icy conditions across parts of the Midlands today. Let me start you out in a trouble spot that has had numerous accidents so far this morning, and that's I-77 between Northeast Columbia and Blythewood. You can see the DOT camera glazed over with ice, and it's still put there. It's been there all morning long. And again, this stretch of road between Northeast Columbia and Blythewood has had numerous accidents of people spinning out of control so far this morning. I'll take you to the city of Columbia, I-126 near Hugie Street, where we have okay conditions in spots, but the ramp from Elmwood onto Hugie is closed due to icy conditions. We also have North Main Street over I-20 in Columbia, which is closed due to icy conditions. And then farther west in Lexington County, Mineral Springs Road, that bridge over I-20, again, completely iced over. There are likely numerous more bridges and overpasses that are very slick due to these cold conditions. Bridges and overpasses are going to be the first to ice over because they have both cold air on the top and on the bottom of them, leading to those to be colder. Let me take you to Casey here. Take a look. We not only have had ice here this morning, but recently snow has developed, and it's enough to create a dusting on the ground in Casey. I've had reports of that in Lexington as well, and that may scoot across the Columbia Metro here soon. So that's another possibility of adding a layer of slick conditions out there. It's certainly something fun to look at with at least some light snow falling in parts of the metro early this afternoon. Over in Lexington, here's how things look for the time being. We've had some reports of slick spots here and there. If you do have to be out on the roads, take it easy. Give yourself a lot of space between yourself and the vehicle in front of you in case you have to suddenly push the brakes. We do not want to slam on the brakes on these types of conditions. That's how you spin out. You want it to be slow and steady if you do have to brake and be out on the roads. We've also had some reports of some light snow in parts of Orangeburg and Calhoun counties over the past hour or two. Doesn't look like it's enough to cover the grass here in this particular part of Orangeburg County, but we have had at least some flakes flying around in this part of the Midlands. So the radar picture does not show a whole lot. What it is showing is mainly pink, which represents freezing rain. But as I told you and just showed you, some of this is actually falling as snow. So there's a mix of some snow and some freezing rain out there right now, continuing to gradually push from the southwest to the northeast. We'll have these light snow showers, light freezing rain showers, and freezing drizzle remain possible for the next few hours. And then things could get pretty interesting late this afternoon into this evening. I'll dive more into that in just a little bit, but we do have reporters out in the field, including our Bralise Pimentel, who's been up in Newberry all night long and into this morning. And Bralise, I understand it's not just ice, but some snow that you've run into up there this morning.
Yes, Taylor, Newberry actually did receive some snow. I'm going to take a step to the side. As you can see right outside the Newberry Opera House, there's some of that thin layer of snow. And I think at this point, it's pretty much frozen now. And these roads are very slippery and very dangerous. In fact, this morning I spoke with Newberry's fire chief, and Gene Shaley. He says no damages or power outages have been reported at this time, and over 20 people are in warming shelters right now. Chief Shaley says the roads are pretty bad right now, but he's increased staff and his crews are ready to go until this weather passes. He says everyone should stay inside if they can. Here's some video of what downtown Newberry looks like this afternoon. Roads have a thin sheet of ice and windshields are frozen. Many businesses in the area are closed with little to no cars on the road. Newberry Fire Chief Gene Shaley says although no damages or outages have been reported, the roads are still slippery and dangerous. The threat is not gone yet, and side streets are going to have the most ice since they aren't used as much. He says his crews are ready to go no matter what.
We're coordinating with local officials, state officials, making sure that we're all on the same page. We have 2 shelters open. We had about 20 folks at O'Neill overnight, and we've got 1 person right now currently at Gallman Elementary, and those shelters have no unmet needs at this time, and they're doing okay. Hopefully everybody's prepared themselves for this and they can stay at home. Do not get out on the roadways. Do not go out and try to sightsee. When you do that, you create hazards that we have to respond to, which takes away from our normal duties. You tie up resources unnecessarily when you do so.
Now, Chief Shealy wants to remind everyone to remember to heat safely. Do not plug a heater into a direct outlet. Now, I will have another update for you guys later in our digital show at 6. Just make sure that you are following all our social media platforms to get the latest updates. Live in Newberry County, I'm Bralise Pimentel, Watch Fox News, Local First.
Bralise, thank you very much. We had some viewer photos and videos sent to us. Thanks to Tina Mitchell for sending us this drone footage out near Two Notch Road. This was around 9 o'clock this morning. Two Notch Road has been another spot where there have been several accidents this morning. It's tough to tell from this far up, but there is indeed some ice on those roadways causing some problems there. And of course, we've heard from other people around the area. So that's another visual of that drone footage from Tina Mitchell. Thank you again for sending us that earlier today. Outside of our area, farther north in Chester, from Jenna Hamilton, they've had a mix of some freezing rain and some sleet, and as you can tell, a little bit of snow, enough to create a dusting out there. So again, thank you to Jenna for sending us that in on Chime In. You can chime in with your videos and photos as well. This one from Carrie Cologne over in Williamston. The dog's loving it, didn't want to come back inside apparently. So there's probably some kids that are thinking the same thing. I know my daughter was taking advantage of the ice at least and sledding down our little hill in our backyard this morning. So at least a little bit of wintry weather out there. And we appreciate you all chiming in with those photos and videos. If you have any of those you want to pass along to us later on today, you can do that on the Watch Fox News app or on WACH.com. Just search for the Chime In section and you can send those our way. All right, so we just heard from Bralise in Newberry. Our Kiana Jordan has also been out and about this morning, started in Chapin, moved through Irmo, and is now over at the Lake Murray Dam. Kiana, what can you tell us?
Well, Taylor, yes, like you said, I'm here at the Lake Murray Dam, and to say the least, it's freezing. Right now, as far as weather, well, you guys can actually see the fog on the lake here. It's completely blanketing it. And what you can't see is that there is some ice that looks like it's sitting on top of the water. Now, there's no snow in this area. We are getting on and off freezing rain, nothing too heavy, but there's a ton of ice. Jared Parker and I have actually been out here ice picking because I think it's just so interesting that the ice is so thick out here that I can actually hold it in my hand without it melting. And we've had this for about 10 minutes here. So yeah, definitely a ton of ice here. And, you know, I don't know if this visual here helps people to want to kind of stay off the road, but this is some of the ice that's covering many of the roadways here. Now, all throughout this morning, I've been in Harbison, in Irmo, in the Chapin area, now Lake Murray, and officials have been warning us of black ice. Now, I did speak with SCDOT spokeswoman who tells me, of course, and again, SCDOT crews are out treating these roads around the clock, but that ice is coming back pretty quickly, so they still want people to stay off the roads if you don't have to be. Now, some of those areas that had that ice are icing very quickly despite the treatments that they're getting are large parts of I-26. We've got Harbison Boulevard was a big one this morning, and still throughout the day. St. Andrews Road, and even those neighborhood streets and roads throughout the community. SCDOT officials are saying be wary, be watchful of them, and just because you can't see the danger doesn't mean it's not there.
If you don't have to drive, we're encouraging folks to stay off the road. But if you do have to travel, check the road conditions and weather conditions before you go out. Drive very slowly and cautiously, and know that conditions are changing quickly. And roads that may have been de-iced as we see continued precipitation could become icy or slick again.
Now, I've also been keeping up with Irmo emergency officials and emergency officials in these areas, and they're telling me that they believe people are actually getting the memo this time and staying at home because they haven't had a high volume of calls for service due to weather-related emergencies. So again, they're telling people continue doing what you're doing and staying in and staying put. There were a few fender benders in the Irmo area, but not too much. Now, we will continue to keep you updated on what's happening with the weather conditions here in Lake Murray, Chapin, Harbison, and Irmo. You can stay connected with me on social medias, with Watch Fox on live and on air. We'll continue to keep you updated. Live in Lake Murray, I'm Kiana Jordan, Watch Fox News, Local First.
Kiana, thank you so much. This is from our sister station, WPDE, the chief meteorologist there, Ed Piotrowski. As you can see, example one of why we warn you about patios and decks being icy. That poor gentleman there, Joel, took a spill down his front steps this morning, tried to get to his car. There he goes. Glad to see he's okay. But there's an example of the icy conditions developing across South Carolina this morning. Be careful if you are going to be out on driveways, sidewalks, anything. A lot of surfaces are covered in that glaze of ice, and it's going to stay that way as long as our temperatures stay below freezing, and those temperatures have hardly budged at all this morning. We've been consistently at 25 degrees in Columbia for the past several hours. We're also at 25 in Newberry, Winsboro, Camden, and Sumter, a little bit closer to the upper 20s farther to the south. This cold air is thanks to something we call the wedge. It's a cold air damming, and I'll explain more about that in a second. What we're concerned about is this heavy precipitation moving through Mississippi and Alabama right now is going to move our way late this afternoon. If our temperatures are still below freezing when this heavy precipitation arrives, we could be looking at heavy freezing rain. That yellow box there, by the way, is a tornado watch. The southern end of this line could produce tornadoes and severe weather across southern Alabama, southwest Georgia, and the Florida Panhandle. Now, we're not expecting severe weather here. When that line rolls through, it could bring gusty winds, but nothing up to the point of severe weather. All right, let me talk about the wedge I was mentioning. The wedge is something we see pretty commonly here in South Carolina, especially during the winter months. It's when cold air spills down the east side of the Appalachians into most of the Midlands and much of South Carolina. This is a particularly strong version of the wedge that's dropped most temperatures in South Carolina below freezing. Wherever you see blue on the map is where temperatures are still below freezing at this hour. Now, forecast models are notorious for underappreciating how strong the wedge is, and that is the case with our model here as well. It's saying that those sub-freezing temperatures are going to go away for most of us by late this afternoon. I don't buy that. I think we are going to stay below freezing longer than that. For Columbia, it may not be until early this evening until we're above freezing. For areas northwest of Columbia, it could be even longer than that. Now, farther south in the southern Midlands, yes, you could climb above freezing at some point this afternoon, but the longer we stay below freezing, the worse things are going to get because, again, that heavy precipitation I talked about is going to move our way late this afternoon. It is easily going to be the heaviest rain that rolls through our area throughout this whole event. It likely starts in the western Midlands around 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon and then pushes east over time. Again, we're looking at the potential for heavy downpours. It's going to look like rain, but if your temperatures are below freezing, it will eventually freeze over and cause more problems for at least driving, possibly some power outage issues, mainly north of I-20 as well. Farther south, if you're above freezing, it's just going to be rain. There might be some thunderstorms in the mix as well, believe it or not, but again, no severe weather is expected. The steady precipitation should continue much of this evening and then gradually comes to an end from the west to the east, close to midnight tonight, possibly lingering a bit longer than that farther to the east. So we're not done just yet. We have our heaviest precipitation yet set to come our way as we wrap up this event later this evening. We are most likely to be below freezing when that heavy precip moves through this evening north of I-20, so an additional quarter inch of ice at least is possible for that part of the Midlands. I would say at least a tenth of an inch of more ice is possible in Columbia. I think it's possible we get even more than that, where temperatures may be above freezing farther south. The icing threat, additional ice, is lower. We do have the ice storm warning still in effect until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon for the dark purple areas, light purple areas under the winter weather advisory until also 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. Now, I do suspect that we are going to have improving road conditions by the time we get to tomorrow because there will be sunshine and temperatures will be above freezing throughout the day tomorrow. But still, just be careful. We're going to keep an eye on road conditions, on the weather, all of that for you. And if you want to do that at home yourself, you can download the SkyWatch weather app from the App Store or the Google Play Store. It has current radar as well as future radar, hour-by-hour forecasts, and our latest forecast from us here at the SkyWatch weather team. All right, that is all from us for now. We appreciate you watching this afternoon. We will have hourly updates at the top of each hour with the latest on the forecast weather conditions, what's going on right now. So be sure to stay tuned to our live stream here on WACH.com, on Facebook, the WACH FOX Facebook page, and the WACH FOX YouTube page. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and have a good day.